Good evening and welcome to our June 24th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. At this time, Mrs. Dwan Kraft will lead us in the invocation.
Thank you. So I'm reading from Life is Better at the Beach, Inspiration for Living Each Day Like You're at the Beach. There's no better sound than laughter, and the echoes of it carry along the seashore. Much of the time, laughter comes from children. Children laugh at least 300 times per day on an average, while adults laugh only about 15 times per day. These statistics may seem startling, but they have been proven over and over again. Maybe it's different when you're at the beach. Maybe you laugh more when you're there. It's easier to laugh when daily stresses are lifted off your shoulders and you're left to bask in the sun and swim in the water. You laugh when trying to ride the waves. A chuckle escapes when a tiny crab emerges from its shell. And laughter fills the air as you fly a kite that competes with seagulls for airspace. It's more difficult to laugh when you're at home in the dead of winter after a stressful day at work. Laughter doesn't come easily when your car dies or your bank balance is suffering. You don't dissolve into fits of giggles when your children complain for the third night in a row about the dinner you lovingly prepared. Though there are some areas of everyday life that are simply not enjoyable but must be endured, you can still find ways to live a happier, more laugh-filled life. Try incorporating fun at least once a day. It may mean taking a detour on the way home from work to stop and swing at the park, in business attire and all. Persuade your friends to come over and play a lively game of charades. Plan a weekly coffee date with a friend who can make you laugh no matter what. Head to the zoo during your lunch break and watch the monkeys perform aerobics. Fun looks different for everyone, but laughter always looks the same, whether you're belly laughing until tears roll down your cheeks or giggling at the silly text your brother sent. It's important to laugh each day, every day, many times throughout. The next time your day feels a bit dull, ask yourself if you've laughed in the past hour. If not, try to incorporate a little fun. It's good for your heart, soul, and mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. At this time, we have Mr. Daniel Walker, our student board member, that's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Daniel. Public comment session. Ms. Jones, do we have anyone that signed up tonight?
Yes, we do. We have Mrs. Hannah Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, if you would like to come forward.
Thank you. I am an English teacher at JP Knapp Early College, and I'm also the faculty sponsor for the Bee and Environmental Club. Last year, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, I've kind of lost track of time, we installed 2 hives on campus, and we have harvested our first little bit of honey. We had a little mishap with the hives earlier this year, and Trey's going to tell us more about the hives, but we've harvested a little bit of honey, and we'd like to share our honey with you. And we have designed by our CTE teacher our labels front and back. It was our first foray into this, and we intend to make it more of a cross-curricular venture as we get more honey in the next year. So I'm going to distribute the bottles, and Trey is our president of the club, and he's going to come and talk to us about the club while I distribute these.
Hi, Trey.
I hope I have the most interesting attire that
You
you guys
do.
have ever seen show up for one of these meetings. So here at JP Knapp Early College, we take pride in a lot. Not only being one of the leading high schools in our country, but as well as being proud owners of beautiful, beautiful creatures. So what I have learned working with the bees is that it's about finding peace within yourself, working with them. Because working with Terry Corbett, our sponsor from the Albemarle Bee Association, he taught me that if you crush a bee when you're working with the bees, they're going to get angry. They're going to attack because the pheromones are released. So you must be very careful and very decisive with each and every movement. Which is the same we plan to do with our club. We plan to take the appropriate steps to go in the right direction and to focus that our students are very active and very involved. course, quarantine has cut that short, made it a little bit hard, and I have been the only student that has been able to go out and experience the bees. But we really hope to open the club up and to bring all of our students at JP Knapp Early College and get them involved in some way, even if it's not necessarily going out and taking care of the bees, but more maybe bottling honey or spreading that just because they're bees doesn't mean you're going to get stung by them. Matter of fact, Terry comes out all the time without a bee suit on and works with the bees, and it's mind-blowing to me that you can go out there, because we've always thought of these insects as passive-aggressive. If you go near them, you're going to get stung, you're going to get attacked, and that's not necessarily true. Bees have one thing in mind, and that's to create honey and to protect their queen. As long as you do not interfere with that process, they will not interfere with you and your daily actions. Does anybody have any questions, anything about the beehives?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How does the honey go from the hive to here?
So I was not actually involved with the extraction process on this one, which it's sad to say. I really wish I could have been there. Ms. Thomas and Mr. Terry went out, and we have honeycomb slides, right? Mm-hmm. So the bees, they build onto what we put into their bee boxes, and they produce the honey. They store it inside. All right. You can get a spring harvest and a winter harvest. Our first go around, we did not want to do a winter harvest. We wanted to make sure our bees had an ample amount of honey to make it through the winter. So we instead opted for a spring harvest. And once we harvested the honey and brought it in, we had Miss West, our FBLA teacher and sponsor. She had those adorable little bottles made for us, helped us print out the labels, really helped the process along altogether. So she helped make it possible for us to bring the honey here to you on the table.
Do you, like, scrape it off the
We
comb,
have scrapers that we come through with, and we push the comb. You can also use the comb. I was going to speak with Ms. Thomas about making balms, candles, things like that out of the leftover comb. That way nothing is wasted from the process. But yes, sir, we come through with scrapers and run it down, and all the honey comes out, and we collect it from there.
Oh, okay.
How many bees do you think you have?
What was it, 5,000, we believe? It's a lot. They are forever growing.
Yes.
So you said you have 2 hives, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am. Big Ben and Winchester. Manchester.
Manchester.
My influence on the hive.
How would we know that?
Well, that's wonderful. My son was doing the same thing. And
Really?
he loved
Beekeeping?
it. Well, he started it, and he was very productive with it. And unfortunately, a bear found his hives, and down in Powell's Point. And unfortunately, they found the hives and helped themselves. And but he loved it, so I hope he'll start it up again. So it's
Well,
very interesting.
We have a cage around our 2 hives.
Good.
That way no wildlife can
Good.
interfere with the process.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it. And is it now?
Yes, ma'am. It is right on the other side of the field if you go out to where you play baseball.
Yes.
If you look across, you can see our little enclosure that we have created.
Well, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a truly beautiful thing, and I'm really grateful that we have that opportunity at JP Knapp, because what other school can say that they have 2 beehives?
I don't know of any.
Another example of JP Knapp being very innovative. And thank you very much for the honey. I am impressed.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Can't wait to have it on my English muffin.
Guys, I must say it is the best honey I've ever tasted. I know I'm a bit of a biased speaker on that, but it is
right.
the best honey that I've ever tasted.
Well, we thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
any other questions?
Anything else?
No, just,
Are you selling them?
We plan to, as we get further along. We didn't have that much this year because we ran into some trouble with one of our hives earlier on in the year. But hopefully, we plan this next winter harvest, we may be able to sell some honey.
Okay. Well, we would love to visit.
Yes.
We have our meetings there at the JP Knapp school site. So maybe one day we could coordinate a visit and you could show us the actual hives.
Please come out anytime.
We
We'd
would
love to
enjoy
share.
that.
Maybe the September meeting, they'll be back in school, and
I think that'd be a great idea. That way we can actually have some more live and active members for you guys to meet and talk to.
Okay, well, that's.
Honey is, I'm sure a lot of parents know, when you digest honey from your own environment, from your own area, it helps you with allergies.
Oh, yes, ma'am. It
Right,
is
so
a
it's very
natural
good.
remedy.
I mean, I would give my daughter a spoonful of that, but it's even better coming right here from Currituck.
I'm very proud of the fact that we can say we have our own bees here that we have done something very special with.
And can you state your full name for me?
Arnold Wayne Hayslip.
Okay.
My friends call me Trey.
I've known Trey for a while. This is a great fit.
Yes.
It is. He's a neat kid. So I discovered the bees. I like to walk and talk and do a lot. And I forgot in the spring that the beehive was back there. And you would have got to see me sprint. So
That's right.
it's
Oh,
great.
that's
Thank you for
funny.
doing this.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
It's great.
We appreciate you
enjoyed it.
being here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we had 2 teachers become beekeepers after they retired.
Yeah.
Julian Lassiter and Stuart Winley.
Okay. Well, that's great. Anyone else, Ms. Jones, that signed up for public comment? All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
You know, man.
Okay.
Well, before we do that, I make a motion to amend the consent agenda portion to omit number 3, the payroll calendars.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
You have to have a second.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor.
I'll
and
second Juan's motion.
Second Dwan's motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Dr. Matt Lutz, our superintendent, would like to tell us a little bit about the revision to our school start date for the 2021-2022 school calendar.
We talk about calendars quite often, probably way too much. And I know we've talked about calendar law and what we're restricted to do and what we're required to do. The last time we got together, our hope was that the state would allow us to start on August the 16th. We were unable to do that, and the bills that were pushed forth in the House did not make it through the Senate. Therefore, we are presenting the board a second calendar, and this calendar will allow us to finish the first semester before Christmas, giving us 81 instructional days before Christmas and 93 after Christmas for the second semester. We would be starting optional work days on August the 13th. First required work day for staff would be the 16th. First student day would be the 23rd. We would finish the first semester on the 21st of December. Christmas break would carry through for students until the 6th of January. Teachers would have work days, optional work days on Tuesday, January 4th, a required work day on the 5th. Those days are needed to transition our students both at the high school, middle, and elementary levels into their semester classes, or for switching schools for our special teachers. Other things regarding this calendar, we have 12 additional early release days. We have 15 early release days in the calendar. The 3 that are traditional would be prior to Labor Day, prior to Christmas, and also the end of the year. We added 12 other early release days. The nice thing about this is those 12 days will all be the same across all the schools with the exception of JP Knapp. So elementary, middle, and high school all have the same calendar for the first time in many years here in the county. 6 of those days will be dedicated to district level professional learning opportunities and building level opportunities, and 6 of those days will be dedicated for staff for planning purposes only.
JP Knapp will still continue on with their calendar that starts school on the 17th. And we do have 2 remote learning days embedded in the calendar. We would like to continue to make sure that if we had to transition due to a weather event, whether it's snow, cold, or a hurricane, that we were able to transition seamlessly for our students. I will say that the legislature has some different things pending with remote learning, but we're at this point in time, we're recommending that we have those 2 days in there so that we can continue to operate, so we can pivot and move our learning online as needed. Questions?
I'm not clear on the remote learning.
We-
So, what
We
are
need
you
a
go- are you
motion and
going
a
to-
second and then discuss this.
We need a motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the 21-22 school calendar.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Janet?
I'm not clear. Are they there if we need them?
They are remote learning days right now.
Automatically.
Automatic.
Okay.
Just so that we will be in some kind of
Yes.
pattern of knowing that we can do it if we have a hurricane or if we have
Correct.
snow days or whatever. We can go right into
We
it
can.
without having.
And we have professional learning opportunities on that day, and it's an
I see.
optional work day. So we have some things planned already that we have locked in. We also know that that date is flexible, especially that second semester. We have one in September the 27th and one in February, which falls after President's Day weekend. Trying to be thoughtful about where those are placed.
And the early release days, I think those are good. You know, some parents may think, oh my goodness, more early release days, but these early release days are designed so that our teachers and staff members can better plan to meet the needs of the students.
Absolutely. And this year, as much as more than ever, after what we've endured for the past 15 months in terms of when we bring our kids back, we're going to have to be very creative in how we group and regroup and move our kids and honor those that were able to continue to prosper in the environment. And there's groups that are struggling, and there's plenty of kids in between. And so this time is going to be used to allow teachers to plan and regroup and have those discussions that they need to have internally with people of like subjects and so on. And we feel confident that we've made great strides in our professional learning opportunities, that this time will be used wisely across the district, and we're excited to have the support of the board to put our students first and our teachers' learning opportunities first.
I think definitely when you bring back the students that were on the virtual school and the ones that came back in the classroom and they come back together, we're not all going to be in the same place.
No.
So,
This will probably be the most dispersion across a classroom that we will have seen, and trying to capture where students are at in their math, in their reading especially at the elementary level, and math across the board is going to be our foremost challenge, I believe, moving forward.
And those days will help, as we discussed in the work session, give time for the staff to do the new wellness modules,
Health.
right, the mental health.
They'll have those opportunities throughout, and like I said, there'll be the district level pieces, and then we'll also make sure that teachers have individual time to plan.
And I don't think I see that on here, but just to let everyone know, that's something that was state mandated that we add to have that wellness, those mental wellness. And it's going to be 6 hours?
Yes.
For,
6 hours over the course of the year. There's a multitude of things that the state requires, and so one of the things we'll be able to do is take some of these larger blocks of time, and staff meetings can occur, and some of the mandates things that we're required to do, we can go through those trainings, including things like school safety, the mental health protocols, and so on. So we'll make good use of the time.
I do have a few questions for you, Dr. Lutz. I know one of the things that we were worried about with the state not allowing us to start early was that the first semester wouldn't end before that break, and I do appreciate that we are still able to do that. That being said, are we going for high school and some middle school as well? Will the testing be held the week before prior to that?
Correct.
Okay. And also one other question. What is your plan for pushing out information about this calendar? Because, although it may seem like we're just having a few more early release days, this is a big change for the middle and elementary schools. So what is the plan to get that out to all the stakeholders in our community?
We'll be posting on all the websites. We'll make sure our principals are pushing out a message across.
Okay, perfect.
Please be aware, so we get in those trends. We had a number of almost full days for professional development opportunities, and so we pulled those out largely and have gone with these early release because either way, we understand it's a burden, and we don't make light of that, but hopefully by lining the entire district up on one calendar, that will help ease that burden on parents for what we certainly think is necessary at this time.
And these calendars are typically given out to at open house.
And we'll make sure we have reminders for our element. That's one of our, when I touch on the strategic plan later in today's meeting, communication is a big part of that plan.
Okay, thank you.
And will this calendar be posted?
Yes.
On the 'cause
As soon as
I
it's
do like it. It looks. I think it's new and
Yeah,
refreshed.
it does,
It
yeah.
looks nice. As a parent, it's nice.
It does look so
I
nice.
love it.
It's
It
easier
looks
to
great.
read. It's easier
As a
to read.
parent, I like looking real quick
Yeah.
about what's going on for that month. So
Yeah. Thank
it
you,
looks good.
Miss Dowdy.
It's Miss Jones and I. We were super excited that we found a format that did help us. We like that it can explain. It gives us the opportunity to explain what happens. If you notice at the bottom of the calendar, it talks about what to expect on an OW. What does that mean?
Right.
For students, for staff. So we do like the format. So.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
great.
thank you both. Miss Jones, thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yes, like I've mentioned a number of times before, this is the most educationally sound calendar when you can end before Christmas break.
Yes,
That way you don't have that forgetting curve
that's right.
over Christmas. So I'm glad for the second year in a row we'll be able to finish, before Christmas break.
And you don't have students rushing to complete projects, and you don't have teachers,
Teachers
and-
can have
Yeah.
that Christmas break like
Hopefully-
their kids.
They can everybody can enjoy their Christmas
Exactly.
break.
Yes.
And it's also going to be challenging for teachers because, each curriculum has a pacing guide, and you're going to have a wide dispersion of abilities, especially like in math and the kids coming back, plus the different days, number of days in the semester. So.
Right. Any other comments, questions? All right. We have a first. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we ask Ms. Renee Dowdy to update us on the ESSER funding presentation. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, sir.
We say Esser.
ESSER? Thank you.
We made it up.
You made it up.
That's right. Good evening. As we did in the work session earlier, for those that were in attendance to our work session, we talked a little bit about the elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds. So for our general public, we're going to repeat that presentation so that everybody gets a little bit of information about what to expect and what these funds really mean. So on the first page, and I'm going to try to jump back and forth between presenting and speaking with you. So on the first page of your handout, you're going to notice really what the intent behind these ESSER funds are. So our federal government, our state governments, our local governments have all seen an influx in funding in response to COVID, whether it's emergency relief or it's planning for what could come next as a result of COVID. And so the federal government has sent money to each state, and each state is supposed to disperse that money out to local education agencies. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this funding, and it's designed to address the impact of COVID and what it continues to have happen on elementary and secondary schools. All right, so understanding first these funds, there are two different funds that we refer to when we refer to ESSER funding. There's PRC 171 and PRC 181. As I pointed out earlier in the work session, you'll notice important key information is the expenditure dates in which these funds must be expended by. Understanding that states are given large sums of money, there needs to be a time frame in which we can reasonably spend those funds. And so ESSER 2, the PRC 171 fund, has an expenditure date of September 30th, 2023. And ESSER 3, or PRC 181, has an expenditure date of September 30, 2024. allowable uses for these funds in just broad categories that we received as far as our guidance documents. These funds are allowed to be expended on addressing learning loss, facility repairs or improvements to minimize virus transmission, improving air quality, supplies to sanitize and clean, educational technology, mental health services, which you heard us refer to earlier in this meeting, and then summer learning. So allotments. So the state sent out these allotments to local education agencies, or LEAs, and these allotments were based on our Title I funding. Title I funding is based on our free and reduced lunch population. So as Dr. Lutz mentioned in our work session, we are a Tier 3 county, and as a Tier 3 county, that means we receive little federal funding because we have a low incidence of free and reduced lunch population. So for our PRC 171 allotment, you'll see a total of almost $1.8 million. And for our ESSER 3 funding, or PRC 181, we have approximately $4 million. In our application process through the NCCCIP program, we have to talk about how we propose spending those allotments in the grant application. So in our application, these were our proposed expenditures. You'll notice for PRC 171, was our summer learning and extension program, which we are currently running, and I'll say it's going really well. We've got lots of positive feedback from our staff that are working about how engaged the kids are in the setting that they're in. It's summer school, but the kids are happy to be there and be receiving the supports that they're getting. So our PRC 171, we propose expending on our salaries for our teachers that are working summer learning, transportation costs associated with summer learning, child nutrition costs, all the things that are going into our summer learning program. Also, educational technology, which includes some software subscriptions and devices. As far as Chromebooks, you know, every year we do have a replacement cycle in which we have to replace devices because they wear out of their life cycle, and then we have to re-backfill with some new devices. Also, curriculum development, having our staff come in with Ms. Christy Hodges and work on district pacing guides and curriculum maps. Also PD for contracted services, bringing people in to work with our staff. We've done things with East Carolina coming in to work with some behavior supports in the past, those types of contracted services for professional development. And then supplies and materials, any resources such as textbooks, workbooks, things that would support instruction in our schools. And for ESSER 3, you'll notice a difference in the shift over into the maintenance world. So you heard one of the allowable expenses was on virus mitigation, if you will, and transmission protocols, as well as air quality improvements. So in our PRC 181, we have proposed expenditures for new HVAC units in 2 of our buildings that much needed an update in their HVAC units, as well as some other improvements to reduce virus transmission, water bottle filling stations, for example, in place of water fountains, new hand dryers that are much more robust hand dryers than the ones that are currently in some of our schools. So those will be coming under the maintenance category. And then for preparedness and response, we have some salaried positions really designed to navigate what we're anticipating seeing with our students returning to school. Mental health concerns, learning loss concerns. So we're going to address some of those things through curriculum and instruction, interventions for at-risk students, dropout prevention, and digital learning. And again, you'll see educational technology over there. This really pertains more to the software to address learning loss and how we differentiate instruction for students based on where they are post-COVID. And I believe that's everything we had on our presentation. If you have any further questions from this afternoon's work session, I'll be happy to answer those. Let me finish this by saying we do have to do a public comment section, so this presentation will be posted to our website along with the ESSER fund information so that we can have anybody provide us with feedback if they so choose to.
When will the board be receiving a breakdown of the PRC 171 and 181 that you submitted?
Yep, I can give those to you as early as next week if you would like those, Dr. Domney. We have them all here. They're not in the most user-friendly format to read. It's a little tiny print to try to read all those little line items, but we do already have those.
Okay.
Any questions for Ms. Dowdy?
I guess it kind of pertains to it. Which schools are we, do we currently have summer school happening?
Absolutely. So we currently have summer school running at Not Silent Elementary School and reading camp. So we have summer school and reading camp going on at some of our elementary sites. We have it going on at Moyock Elementary School and Jarvisburg Elementary School. And again, that's both summer learning and summer reading camp. And then we have our middle schools attending the site at Currituck County Middle School, and both of our high school students are attending at Currituck County High School.
I know that we were required to offer certain courses at the high school. Were we able to offer any electives?
So we have fitness going on right now at the high school. Mr. Bo Davenport's actually teaching the fitness course at the high school, so students are getting an elective credit for that. We are also offering some online electives. We have a number of students who are taking electives online with support in the building.
So I can
Gives
assure.
them a better selection, and we still got support.
Yeah, it's about credit recovery. So these students are there really to recover credits. So most of them are in required courses for graduation: histories, maths, Englishes, and sciences. Few need credits just in general to make it to the requirement that they need. So most students are in English, math, science, and social studies courses.
So you said everything's going good, and pretty much most students who were offered or invited are accepted?
Yeah, so it was voluntary. Anybody that wanted to be there is there. We didn't have to turn anybody down because of capacity. We were a little worried. We were getting somewhat big. But as you start, you have kids that don't show up who said they were going to be there for whatever reason. But attendance is really good. we expected it to wane after that first bit, one with the no-shows who were not going to come. And then afterwards, it's kind of like, oh, I really don't want to go. And they convince parents not to want to be there, kind of thing. But it has not been significant at all. So we have a good number of students. And of course, our elementary reading camp students, they're there. They're much involved in trying to get ready for that reading component of being prepared for the next grade level.
Great. And I think we mentioned also in the work session about some of this money is being used to help with the incentives and with the pay for the teachers and staff that are giving up their summer break.
That's right. So if the public remembers, in our last board meeting, we had to do a presentation on our summer learning program. And in that summer learning program, we talked about the concerns shared by every LEA across the state in hiring teachers to work summer school after this year. And our concern was all the same. How are we going to convince them to stay on after they've just survived what was probably the toughest year in teaching in the history of all of our careers? And one of the things that the state did was mandate certain bonuses. So some teachers, whether they were national board certified or had received a reading or math performance bonus in grades 3 through 8 previously, automatically got $1,200 sign-on bonuses just for agreeing to teach summer school. In addition to that, Dr. Lutz talked about our pay incentive. Teachers are making $200 a day and a $200 weekly bonus, if they have perfect attendance for that week. We also structured our pay scales for our child nutrition, TAs, bus drivers, higher than what they normally make in a traditional year as an incentive to please work for the summer. Because we know many of them go across the bridge down south and work restaurant business or, different cleaning businesses in the summer, and can make significant money. So we had to figure out a way to entice them to still stay on and provide a service to our students.
That's great that helped out.
So we've been in summer school 2 weeks, 1 week?
No, we will be in 3. This is in the third week, right?
Wow.
And then July 4th, no, this is week, we're going into week 3, and July 4th is week 4.
Okay.
It's
So
just one big continuous year.
It's never ended, yes. Just want to assure, too, that we're going to stretch the local dollars as far as we can. Anything that we put in our plan, we do believe it'll be sustainable beyond the funds. So the positions that we have added are positions that either were needed or we anticipate that we'll have the funding for in 24-25 school year. And so we were thoughtful about that. And we also tried to take as much one-time money and allocate that to things that we know we're going to need and that are going to last a long time, such as HVAC, Chromebooks, and so on and so forth. So we tried to be as thoughtful with the money as possible. And again, we'll continue to be good stewards of a local tax dollar.
Thank you, Ms. Dowdy. Strategic plan update, Dr. Matt Lutz.
Well, this is exciting because I'm just going to almost like a teaser here where we're at with the strategic plan. A lot of work, a tremendous amount of work has gone into creating this, and we've gathered thousands of data points from our staff, from our community, and we're putting that together. And we're landing on what our goals are going to be and what this plan looks like. In August, we're going to have the grand unveiling with where we're headed. make it perfectly clear across the entire community, and we'll do that in August. But I wanted to touch on our 3 strategic initiatives that have come out of this work. Currituck County Schools will develop the whole student by providing a wide array of programs and services to meet their academic, intellectual, and social-emotional needs. And then we have goals that can be measured below that. We want a great place to work and grow, and I know that we had some discussion even at dinner about the importance of being able to maintain housing and also keep our top employees. Currituck County Schools will create a desirable work environment where highly qualified professionals and support personnel will want to work and are motivated to grow. And we're committed between our strategic plan and our curricular strategic plan to make sure that we're supporting our staff. And an engaged community, and this speaks to the communication piece. Currituck County Schools will foster a culture of community engagement that promotes the success of all learners. And we are going to address our communication modes in that. It was an excellent process. Mrs. Dowdy did a wonderful job leading that work, along with our outside consultant, and we had a great team internally that helped gather this information and synthesize it. So I look forward to sharing this robust plan with the board and with our staff and our community in late summer.
Thank you, Dr. Lutz. Field trip request.
Okay, so field trip request. Again, in the spirit of a really odd year, wrestling is taking place in June.
Yeah.
Which normally we'd be finishing up with our championships in late February, early March. And so fortunately we were able to send 12 wrestlers to the regionals, 12 male and 1 female wrestler to the regionals under Coach Mike Fisher. We also had we had 13 males and 11 females go to the regional track meet in Cedar Point. That was under Mike Renke and Anceletta Graham. I think it's important. I wanted to take a chance to point out the coaches because what their stipends and what they actually make and the hours they put in, they don't match. And so these are overnight trips away from family, and it's exciting for the kids, exciting for the coaches, and nice opportunity to do that. Anna Zach is our female wrestler. She went to the state championships for women's wrestling. And regional tennis under Coach Vic Ramsey. We all know Vic. We had 3 females go to the regional tennis championships in Kinston.
That's wonderful. Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion that we approve the consent agenda?
So, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Information items. We will have our work session August 5th at the Knapp Professional Learning Center at 4 o'clock. Then immediately following that, we will have our Board of Education meeting here, same date, of course, at 6:30. Please put on your calendars that we'll have our district convocation August 17th at Currituck County Middle School. The schedule and the times are pending.
We certainly hope we can have a large group gathering to kick off the school year and get things back to something that resembles normal.
Some kind of normalcy.
Just like tonight's meeting where we're able to come together
Yes.
and look out in the audience. This is nice.
That's right. Board members and superintendent comments. Daniel, I'd like to start with you. If you could maybe give us an update.
Thank you. Well, I must say it's pretty exciting that we actually have the chairs arranged normally back here, and I'm up here sitting with you guys tonight. But I can really say that, coming to the end of the year, I saw a lot of excitement from our students going back into normalcy and what the next year may hold. There's a lot of great things going on in our school right now. We have a few of our students from the high school at Governor's School at the moment. I think instrumental music, and one is in social sciences, I believe. So that's really exciting for them to actually be there this summer. Also, I know you mentioned Brooke Zach. I believe she did win state.
Yeah, I think
so
she did.
that is a really great accomplishment for her. And like I said, I think we're all excited to get back in the swing of things in a normal year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Dobney?
Yes, glad to have you back, Daniel. Up here, too. I'd like to thank the JP Knapp Bee Club and Trey for the information on the beehives that we have located on our property and the honey that they gave us. I'm also glad that for the second year in a row that we have an educationally sound school calendar.
Yes.
And last, I'd just like to wish everybody a safe and happy summer.
Thank you, Dr. Dobney. Ms. Kraft?
Yes. So we all attended some graduations and promotion ceremonies, and I even did some proctoring for end-of-year testing at Moyock Middle, which is like watching paint dry, I'm telling you. But I was glad to do it. So a few weeks ago, I saw a Facebook post about the myth of teachers being on summer vacation when in reality this year's teachers are in recovery. And yeah, it was funny and it was supposed to be a joke, but the reality is that our teachers do need to recover from this year. I believe I speak for all of us as I tell you how thankful we are for every teacher, every staff member, not just teachers, but every person that was involved in this school year, because it has been extremely stressful. And you've done an amazing job to make it successful, and you are amazing. And I just want you to take time for yourself this summer. Even if you are teaching summer school, find time to laugh. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Ms. Peters?
Yes, it does seem odd that we've almost approaching out of school for a month, but as Ms. Kraft said, we did go to the graduation ceremonies, and they were very nice. It was so nice to see so many happy faces and so many young people in our community accomplishing so much at 18 or 17 when they're graduating. So that was nice. And as we've talked about, there's so many athletic things going on, and it is weird seeing these kind of things, but I wanted to give a shout out to the wrestling and the tennis and the track and field, because it does seem like there's been some really great things from Currituck going on in all those sports in regionals and state. So great job to all of them, and like you said, the coaches. I know that they do put in a lot of time. And thank you to all of our staff that's working this summer. I know that it was probably hard to give up their summer, like Ms. Kraft said. Everyone needed a rest and a break, but it sounds like it's going well, so thank you. I just wish everyone has a great summer, and we're all hoping for a normal year getting back when we start. And take time. I know I've done a lot of looking at a lot of our websites for the schools. For example, Moyock Middle School has a really great where you can go for sixth graders, and they can sit in front of it, meet a lot of the sixth grade teachers, learn about clubs. I just thought that was a great thing for your students, this summer while they're home, and we're all trying to find things for them to do. It's like every day trying to find something to do. Encourage them to go on there and look at those things and kind of get familiar with that kind of thing. So I think that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Peters. Ms. Rose?
Well, I want to thank the Honey Club at Knapp. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that presentation. And I'd like to give a shout out to our Currituck County School retirees. We haven't been able to get together as a large group yet and honor them, but they were honored, and we appreciate their service, certainly. We did attend a lot of graduation and promotion ceremonies, which I was so happy to see the graduates there. They were excited. They had guests. It was wonderful. I I hope that next year maybe we can extend what our seniors get to do even more, like with baccalaureate and senior awards night, and maybe even establish the elementary and middle school walkthrough where they can have more opportunities to wear their caps and gowns. It's, you know, it's such an exciting time in their lives. Prom was awesome, and I know juniors did not get to go this year, but I hope they can go next year. And I, too, want to congratulate our wrestlers and our tennis players, track and field. Hats off to all the teachers who worked so hard this year, all the support staff, the parents, and the students. It truly has been a team effort. And I hope everybody has a great summer.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Dr. Lutz?
Well, we just, for me personally, this is 1 year sitting in the seat, and I'd like to thank the board for the opportunity and the community for the opportunity to serve in this role. And I think we accomplished a tremendous amount.
What a year to throw.
What a year.
Here's COVID, and
Here you
go, and let's change the rules. But it was quite the learning experience,
Yes.
and the staff. You know, we get into the thanks. I don't want to get into individuals, but what an effort on this community's part and our workers. Every single one of them. We found a way to get it done, and we're looking forward to a great year next year. I did want to take a minute to thank Allison Scholler for stepping in this year, and she really helped us out and gave back once again as she transitions to Dr. Durham, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank her. I did want to touch on that we have a Board of Education and Board of Commissioners meeting in July. We committed to doing quarterly meetings and continuing to build our relationship, as that's so important in a county like ours. As Renee mentioned, we're Tier 3, and Tier 3 means we are dependent on our local community to support our schools, and we are thankful that we have that support. And I wish everyone a great summer.
Thank you, Dr. Lutz. I, too, would like to congratulate all of our graduates from Currituck County High School, as well as Knapp Early College. We had 2 wonderful evenings at the high school. Of course, as you know, it was held at the football field, and it was a beautiful night. I think everybody was happy to be there, friends, family, grandparents. It was just a joyous time of celebration. Thanks to all of the people that were involved in helping to make the graduation such a success. I know it is a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes on, and I just want to let you know that that you are recognized, and we appreciate it. As Dr. Lutz said, we do have a joint commissioners meeting coming up next month in July, and we're looking forward to that. I, too, would like to thank all of our summer school teachers that have stepped up to teach our students this summer, especially with the year that we've had and the challenging year. It would be easy to say, no, not me, let someone else do it. But those that stepped up to the plate and love our kids the way they do, and they want to be there for them, I really appreciate that. I would like to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July. It's going to be one to really celebrate this year with family and friends and everything that we have to be thankful for as a nation. And with that being said, I would like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.